The child said goodbye to the dog forever. 1 minute later, something happened that gave me chills. The sun had just risen, but for Terry it felt as if a dark cloud had already settled over his little heart. The 5-year-old sat on his bed with his arms crossed as his parents gently explained that they would soon be moving to a new city. "It's a great opportunity for us," his father said softly. "A beautiful new home, a wonderful school for you." But Terry's small hands clenched into fists. He knew that wasn't everything. There was something else, something his parents were afraid to say outright. Then his mother finally spoke the words, "Sweetheart, we can't take Rob with us." Terry's heart pounded painfully in his chest. He blinked as if he had misheard. "What?" he whispered. His mother placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "We tried everything, but it's just not possible. The new house doesn't allow dogs." The words hit him like a cold downpour. His best friend, his loyal companion, was simply going to be left behind? "No!" Terry cried, jumping off the bed and running out of the room. Tears streamed down his face as he stormed into the backyard. There sat Rob, wagging his tail happily, unaware of the heartbreaking truth. Terry threw himself onto his dog, hugging him tightly, burying his face in the soft fur. "They want to take you away, but I won't let them," he sobbed. Rob gently licked his face as if trying to comfort him, but the fear in Terry's chest only grew stronger. How could anyone leave behind someone they loved? Inside, his parents watched him through the window. Martha, his mother, wiped away a tear from the corner of her eye. "He'll understand one day," she whispered. But deep down, she wasn't sure if she even believed that herself. She had always thought this was the right decision, but as she watched Terry cling to Rob, doubt began to creep into her heart. Terry clung to Rob's warm fur, his small shoulders trembling with sobs. The loyal dog remained completely still, gently resting his head on Terry's lap and licking his hands soothingly. It was as if he understood that this was supposed to be their last moment together. The world around them seemed to stand still. There was only Rob and the unbearable fear of losing him forever. "You can't go," Terry whispered. "You're my best friend." Behind the window, his parents watched their son desperately hold onto his dog. Martha pressed a hand over her mouth to stifle her own sobs while her husband let out a deep sigh. "Maybe we're making a mistake," she murmured, but her husband slowly shook his head. "We have no choice." But at that moment something happened that left them both speechless. Rob suddenly moved. He sat up, placed his large paws gently over Terry's shoulders, and pressed himself tightly against the boy. Then he lowered his head and remained still, almost as if he was comforting Terry, holding him, refusing to let go. Martha's eyes widened. "Oh my God," she whispered. Terry's father swallowed hard. They had never seen a dog act like this, as if he truly understood what was at stake. For a long moment, absolute silence filled the air, until Terry softly said, "Mom, Dad, Rob is telling me that he doesn't want to leave. And we're not traitors, are we?" His parents looked at each other, and in that moment they realized they had made the wrong decision. Martha felt her heart clench. Seeing her little son clutching his best friend while Rob held him like a human brought tears to her eyes. She had always known the bond between them was strong, but this moment made her realize that Rob was not just a dog, he was family. Her husband swallowed hard as he watched the scene unfold. I never thought a dog could feel like this," he murmured quietly. Terry hugged Rob even tighter, his voice trembling with emotion. "Mom, Dad, please, you can't give him away. He's part of our family. Even if we didn't want him anymore, he would still wait for us." His small hands clung to the thick fur as if he feared Rob would be taken from him at any moment. The dog remained still, closed his eyes, and gently pressed his face against Terry's shoulder. He knew something important was happening. He knew his fate rested in the hands of the adults. Martha's hands trembled as she reached for her phone. She took a deep breath while dialing the number of the animal shelter. Her gaze met her husband's questioning eyes. But then he slowly nodded. "You're right, love," he finally said, placing his hand on Terry's head. "Rob belongs with us." Then she spoke into the phone. "Hello? I just wanted to let you know. We won't be needing a place for Rob after all." When she hung up, she saw Terry jump up, throw his arms around Rob, and burst into joyful tears. "He's staying," he whispered happily, as Rob licked his cheek gently, almost as if he understood everything. Martha hung up and took a deep breath. The decision had been made. Rob would stay. Her husband remained motionless for a moment before shaking his head and giving a weak smile. "I can't believe we even considered giving him away," he murmured. Martha nodded, her gaze falling on Terry, who was now beaming again. His face was still streaked with tears, but his eyes sparkled with joy. He threw himself onto his dog, burying his face in the thick fur. Rob remained calm, as if he had known all along that this was how it would end. "We are a family, and families stay together," Martha said softly, placing a gentle hand on Terry's shoulder. Her husband sighed and knelt beside her. "I'm sorry, kiddo. We didn't think it through," he admitted. Terry shook his head. "But now you understand, and that's what matters most." The parents exchanged a look. Their little boy had taught them a valuable lesson that day, one about loyalty and true love. They now knew that some things were more important than convenience or circumstances. From that moment on, Rob was no longer just a pet. He was family, a loyal friend who could never be replaced or left behind. The days passed and happiness returned to their home. Terry and Rob were inseparable, playing together, laughing together, and every night when Terry snuggled into bed, Rob lay beside him. Watching their son, the parents knew they had made the right decision, because true love knows no limits, and sometimes it is our animals who teach us what family truly means. Sometimes it's not the big decisions in life, but the small, unexpected moments that show us what really matters. Terry's parents thought they were making the right choice, until they saw how deep the bond between their son and Rob truly was. Family means being there for each other, through good times and bad. And sometimes it's our pets who teach us the most important lessons about loyalty and unconditional love. This story reminds us that pets are not just animals. They are our companions, our comfort, our family. Have you ever had an experience that showed you true love doesn't need words? Share it with us in the comments. What do you think? Can an animal truly feel that deeply? Let us know in the comments. Leave us a like and share the video with your friends and family who love animal stories. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss another heartwarming story. Thank you for watching, and never forget, sometimes our pets are the greatest heroes in our lives.